Hi, my name is Myra Tanksley, and I am recording this on February the 20th, 2015. Just to give you a little background, I'm the proud single mom of a son with autism. He'll be 22 in April. For the last almost 2.5 years, he's been a victim of legalized abuse, legalized neglect, legalized assault, because he was illegally committed to a state of Ohio facility. He is autistic, but he's not moderately retarded, and you have to be moderately retarded to be involuntarily committed to the state of Ohio facility. It's run by the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities, and my son has suffered ongoing abuse, neglect, and assault. I actually witnessed and have on audio tape of one of the assaults where an employee actually walked up to my son. I wasn't standing close to my son, but I was standing far away to be able to see it. And the Lord set him up because this guy didn't even know I was standing there. But anyway, he walked up to my son and punched him in the chest. And like I said, I have this on audio tape as well as seeing it, witnessing it with my own eyes. And after he punched him in the chest, he grabbed him by his shirt, jerked him to his feet, and threw him in the waiting state of Ohio van. It was just, I just shudder to even think about it. Right now, I can't even really listen to the tape anymore. It's just because the memories is so painful for me as a mother, especially for my child, for him to be treated like that. So, since I'm an advocate for my son, I think racial components are in this too. I'm not intimidated by evil, sick people or people that have earthly powers. I am a Christian, but I'm not intimidated by evil, sick people. I know God is a just God. I know that He will take care of people that abuse and oppress helpless people like my son. I'm not talking about people that use the system. I'm talking about like children, disabled people, anybody that can't really advocate and help themselves. God is not happy when you misuse and mistreat people like that. And He's to let me know that He is in this thing with me, my son. We're not in this thing by ourselves. He has suffered so much, and so did Jesus. And just because somebody is being mistreated doesn't mean they deserve it. Back again to my Lord and Savior Jesus, when they hung Him on the cross as a criminal, He really wasn't a criminal at all. He was actually without sin. So my son hasn't done anything to anybody to be treated like that. And the Lord let me know that you're right. As far as I'm concerned, He has not done anything to anybody, and He's not over there because He deserves it. I'm not trying to punish Him or think He done something wrong, but I can use this because God can work through anybody. And a lot of people, they limit God's character and actions to human understanding, but God will use the least of the world. I'm not saying my son's the least of the world or me, but you know, obviously they really don't think he has any worth. Society too, but especially the system, because they mistreat. He ain't the only one. They mistreat a whole lot of disabled people. Oh, they're retarded, or they even hire people that can't speak a clear English. And they think because of their disabilities, they're they don't make good witnesses, and they don't understand us, and they just kind of put them down, and don't think they have as much worth as somebody that would be able, because they don't think they could tell on the employees when they're being abused, and it's just a lot of stuff you could just tell. But anyway, since I do advocate for him, and I'm not intimidated. I fight for my son. I believe in evidence. I'm a very much evidence girl. And it's like, well, how dare you? I'm supposed to keep my mouth shut and turn my head while my son's being abused. But I don't do that. I'm not that type of mother. So they got rid of my guardianship with a corrupt attorney. These people work in concert. They're all on the same bandwagon. They protect each other. They scratch each other's back. And they all are on the same a level. None of them will acknowledge my son is being abused. The theme is, while he's being abused and neglected and assaulted, is to slander mom. And they have always tried to put a wedge between me and my son. I said, well, you can't do that. I said, because he sure loves mom, mom sure loves him. I said, we're not a dysfunctional family. We have a loving relationship. And I tell him what a wonderful son he is, and I got on tape because I tape my son. I'm an evidence girl. I said, one day people will hear how my son really feels. And I think that's why God really could use him, because he's not nonverbal like some autistic people can be. He's able to tell you things. Not that great, but enough to, tell you how he feels and how he's being treated and stuff. And he's told me many times, besides missing and loving me, that he thought I was a great mom, and I got it all on tape. So one day they can hear how he really feels. I'm not putting anything in his mouth or speaking for my son. He could tell you. And so God is using him and working through him to deal with the system. And like I told the so-called superintendent over there that used to be program director, I said, you can't box with God. You cannot defeat God. I said, because what y'all doing is wrong. The book of Psalms is full of that stuff, where you can read how God takes care of the oppressed, or the poor and needy, or, people that can't help themselves. I said, one thing for sure, he isn't on your side. So basically this audio tape or audio video is about the very corrupt, very unfit, lying attorney that they appointed to be my son's limited guardian. Her name is Attorney Erin Sanford. And like many of the scummy court-appointed attorneys who pose as guardians, they don't really have to visit the wards. They work for the system. They don't really care about the wards. They're appointed by probate court, which is very corrupt in itself. And that's who pays them, and that's who they work for. And when you got a mother like me, you really, it's much easier for the system to do their dirt when they have a so-called guardian on paper that's not going to find them, won't challenge them, don't really care what happens to the ward, because she knows all about this abuse and neglect and assault, because I told her. And I told her, I said, you can go to Facebook and see all the evidence and see what I'm talking about. And I said, it makes it easy for you. It has the dates, it has the evidence. And she just, ignored it. But if she would, make waves and actually say, yeah, he's been abused and neglected and assaulted, you think they would still have her working for probate court? Because probate court put him there. So it's a whole army full of corrupt people in the system. Very sick. My justice page, I have 2 pages on Facebook. One is Justice for Autistic Marquise Tanksley, and that shows how these people use their dirty tricks, abuse of power. You'll see how they use court documents, how they lie, and, how corrupt they are. Then the abuse and neglect of autistic Marquise Tanksley by the government is the second one, and that has the actual, a lot of pictures, pictorial evidence, things that I have seen when I went over there. And like I said, my son could tell me things, but some things, and I told them, I said, in a meeting, I said, this, don't insult my intelligence. I said, there's things that he don't have to tell me. I can look at him and tell he's being abused and neglected, or there's unexplained scars and that I didn't see before, that there's untreated and unexplained injuries, fresh injuries and scratches. I said, I can look at him and tell and know that he didn't do that to himself. So anyway, so this attorney, her name is Erin Sanford, very unfit. She admits to that. I got her on tape admitting to that, telling us that she couldn't handle mental health caseloads or those types of caseload. That's in the YouTube channel. It's also on the pages, my Facebook pages. She lied on me and said I created disturbance at Grant Medical Center, or a doctor's appointment for my son. It was a lie. She wasn't even there that day. And then when I asked the security guard, he said, you're not the guardian, that's why you had to leave. He never said, oh, you're creating a disturbance and stuff. So I proved that she's a liar. I proved that she's unfit from my own word, from her own mouth, when she said she couldn't handle those caseloads like that. And now I'm going to prove how incompetent she is and how unfit she is. And on this tape, you will hear me having a conversation with the U.S. Department of Education. My son was actually abused and traumatized in a seclusion closet in Columbus City Schools District when he was in high school. And the U.S. Department of Education, after I filed a complaint, they went ahead and said, yeah, he was violated, civil rights was violated. School district, this is what you have to do. Two things that were ordered. They went into agreement between the feds and CCS was compensatory education and counseling for a whole year paid by the school district. Sanford was aware of that, that these two things needed to be done. The school district was, even though they didn't want to deal with me, but I said, well, no, I don't care. I'm the one that filed the complaint, because I'm going to stay in this thing with my son. They said that to get their federal funds, to keep it coming, they need to do these two things. Well, to make a long story short, the school district told the U.S. Department of Education that they had been sending Sanford, this corrupt limited guardian, that's supposed to do it so much better, I guess. They had sent her numerous requests for her to identify a place so they can go ahead and get the counseling started. And you will hear this employee from the U.S. Department of Education tell me about it. That's what the district said. And she had also said that the U.S. Department of Education was getting a little concerned because after a while they wouldn't have to do this counseling part if the guardian never responds, But they said that they had been sending her numerous requests to get a counselor, and that Sanford ignored it, wouldn't respond back to them. And then the U.S. Department of Education staff member or employee that I was talking to on the phone, and she said, we made them prove it to us too. So the school district not only sent these requests and didn't get a response from Sanford, they also proved it to the U.S. Department of Education, because they said, well, show, so they probably just sent them a whole bunch of letters that they had been sending Sanford, but she never did respond. Now, all of a sudden, because I already made an audio video on that already, and after I had made an audio video and actually put it on Facebook, all of a sudden the counseling has started. Well, I won't say all of a sudden, because it was actually ordered in 2013, and actually it's been at least a year since it's been ordered. So the counseling finally started, I want to say, this is February 2015, I want to say in January, because my son said he goes see a guy named Joe every Wednesday, and he tells him, I want to be back home with my mom. I hate CDC. I don't want to be here. I get mistreated, and I don't want to, I miss my mom, and I want to live with her and stuff. And maybe that's why Sanford didn't really want to, because my son probably might not even remember the seclusion closet at the high school, since he's been going through pure hell at the state institution. I mean, they have treated him worse than they did at the high school. And just like what I thought, he told me, he said, well, that's what I told him. I want to come home and live with you, and I miss you, and I want to leave CDC. And so that started last month. And then on this tape, you'll also see how Sanford dropped the ball. Because it's a pathetic thing when a federal order is actually given, and you're supposed to be the guardian and make, proper decisions. The school district is trying to get you to identify a counselor or counseling agency or whatever, and you just keep ignoring it. And she had wrote me a letter, which I told Sanford not to write me letters, because I might not get letters in a timely basis, to to give me a phone call. Just leave a message in the voicemail. She doesn't like talking to me because she knows how I feel about her and stuff. I'm a Christian. I ain't gonna cuss her out, but I don't respect dirty, evil, scummy, sick people. I don't care what you, because your attorney means nothing to me. I'm a registered nurse. There's bad nurses and there's bad attorneys, but she still writes letters, and she wrote in a letter that's been a long process. Because I called her like I promised this U.S. Department of Education person, said, the school district told on you that you're not responding to their request for a counselor, and you need to do that. I know she don't give a darn about my son. She has no emotional attachment. That's why they appointed her. She ain't gonna create no one else. She don't care how he's being treated. But since I found out about it, because the Lord made sure I found out about it and put it out there, that she was trying to rectify herself. So she dropped the ball on that because she dropped the ball on his education. Because in the meeting with CCS, this same meeting, they said all my son needed was 1.5 credits to graduate. But she never monitored the progress. And we all thought that he would be done with graduation or his coursework, that he'll be done with school June 2014. Even the state facility thought he had graduated and stuff. They had a little barbecue thing for him and stuff. And the teacher that went over to the state facility to do, the coursework, his name was Chuck Comfer. He even thought he graduated. Because I said, where's my son's diploma? When I'm going to get it? And he said, I called, and, all of them's incompetent. And then somebody told him they would call him back in 2 weeks, and he said he never heard anything. So he said, well, good luck, By the way, but he thought that he had finished. I said, well, did he actually graduate? Did he actually finish all the coursework? And he said, yeah. And that was in June of 2014. So you can imagine how confused I am, especially my son, because he thought he was going to get a diploma. I have already bought him a cap and gown. He wasn't going to go through a ceremony, but I had bought him a cap and gown. And we thought that he had graduated. Well, lo and behold, when I called them, I think I started calling around, because when I called the U.S. Department of Education, I was asking them about it in September, and then I called right in the, right before winter break or something, maybe November, December. I called the school district. They didn't call me back. They just took the message, called it, and didn't call me back, because they probably said, well, she ain't the guardian. We ain't got to deal with her. Yahoo, that kind of mentality. And so, remembering what the U.S. Department of Education employee told me, because you'll hear on this tape, the first part you'll hear about the counseling, that Sanford wouldn't answer the district back about, starting counseling or anything, Then the second thing is about where the school district attorney told the U.S. Department of Education's attorney that we don't think he has enough credits. And Sanford should have been monitoring that. She should have made sure, and almost missed the thing. Because the bad thing about it is, my son will be 22 in 2 months. Now I'm recording this on February the 20th, 2015. He'll be 22 April the 9th. And he's ready to age out of school. Because I think you can only go to school all the way up to 21. High school. And after that, all of a sudden, he told me that a new teacher named Rick is coming over on Tuesdays and Fridays. Now, he told me this probably about 2 weeks ago. So here it is, February 2015. And Sanford's finally realizing that my son did not have enough credits. And that is now or never. I'm sure they probably told her that. Because, like I said, he ages out in 2 months. He'll be 22 in April of this year. So instead of, and I know she didn't care about it or know anything about it, because she sure didn't have him start at the beginning of the school year, which was in August, August 2014. So you can imagine how confused he is. I said, this is just pure pathetic. I mean, this is disgraceful. And of course, I didn't know nothing about that. And I know that's another reason why I think the Lord decided to kind of work through my son, because he is able to tell me things. So he told me about that. He said, "Oh, a new teacher named Rick came over." And like I said, that started like 2 weeks ago. So in February 2015, this month, he has started school to try to hurry up and get all the credits that he needs so he can graduate, you know. And I know my son's like, what? You know, because he knows school's supposed to start in August or September. But I think probably the school district or either the U.S. Department of Education probably told Sanford, look, he needs to be re-enrolled in school. We need to get over there before he ages out. So anyway, just to show how unfit and incompetent this so-called scummy attorney is. Well, not so-called. She is. She's just pure pathetic. That probate court, and there's many more like her that is posing as guardians, and it's just a shame. This government sickens me. That's from the federal government on down, because they're not cleaning this mess up. You make a play, oh, we'll send it back to a state, Disability Rights Ohio. I said, shoot, they used to be a state agency. And it depends on who it is. Now, if it's been a private company or, a different type of a company, they might really go after them and stuff. But I said, they're not going to do anything with the state. I don't know how Department of Health, they kick it right back. I said, that's so ignorant of the federal government. But this stuff happens because ain't nobody put a stop to it. And you got all these sick people running around in concert with each other. Now, my son has suffered, and now he's getting ready to go. He's getting ready to be discharged March the 3rd, 2015. That's in a few more weeks. And to an apartment, which is going to be operated and ran by Franklin County Board of DD, who hates my guts and hates Marquise's guts. They wouldn't even take MUIs when Marquise was in the last apartment that they had. Matter of fact, he was in two of their apartments. That one over there on Winchester Pike, they wouldn't take an MUI when the DD staff allowed him to elope, and he was gone for a whole hour. They had helicopters looking out for him and stuff. I got some of that on tape too. I just had to dig through all my evidence to find it. And then when he was arrested and sent over to CDC by Franklin County Board of DD, there was staff in there that didn't know nothing about autism. And it was an apartment that the neighbors, and I said, God might set these people up and stuff. I don't think he's going to really let anything really happen to my son, but, he's not on their side. He's on me and Marquise's side. And the neighbors were very hostile. And my son would get triggered by all the noise, the traffic. It was just very noisy neighborhood. I tried to get him out of there, and they wouldn't put him no place else, They had him in the hood, And the neighbors would, when he went down the street, they, were very upset because they thought he was a madman. They didn't know that he had a disability and probably didn't care, So that didn't work. But I want him to come home to live with me. But God, he's all in this thing. He's very, very unhappy with the way my son's been treated and I've been treated. And I really believe that. And then I've seen him already do some things that I know what nobody but him. So his will be done in this. And ain't nobody's going to be able to, you can't box with God. You can't stop his will from being achieved in his purpose. But anyway, so he'll be leaving March the 3rd from the state facility to a community apartment. And then what I really don't like, besides that, they won't let me see him again until March the 15th. I said, well, has anybody thought how that's going to affect my son? I said, he'll probably have a meltdown over that, because I'm his only source of comfort and love and support. And he looks forward to seeing me every week. He wishes he could see me every day and talk to me every day. But they're not going to let me see him this Sunday or the next Sunday or the other Sunday after that. And, you could just imagine how devastated he's going to be. He's going to be like, where's my mom? And I don't want them trying to put a wedge between our relationship and stuff. Because I don't want him to think that I have abandoned him. I don't want him to think that that he doesn't, but it's going to be devastating to him. You're taking away his only comfort, only source of comfort and love and companionship. It's just, and, I'm letting the federal government know about it. I know they don't care, but I said, y'all have failed my son. I said, you people are just despicable. Ain't nothing honorable about none of you. And that goes every branch of government, from the executive, legislature, the judicial. All you people just come. Anytime you turn your head and allow that stuff to go on, and you're sitting in jobs where you can make an impact to stop that, and you turn your head, you're just as bad as the people directly doing it. And that's DOJ. That's all of them. Because that shouldn't be. But without further ado, you're going to hear this conversation with the U.S. Department of Education, and her telling me about that the counseling hadn't been done. Sanford wouldn't respond back to the school district, and then also you'll hear her telling me also about the diploma, because I was asking about the diploma. So without further ado, here we go, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for calling me back. I just want to know, how can I get my son's diploma? They had took the guardianship away from me for placing medical decisions, because I'm fighting the state of Ohio and exposing them for how they've been mistreating Marquise. I got a Facebook page and everything to show that it's not just my imagination. He's been treated like crap. But of course, they really just went after trying to give him some compensatory education because of you all. And so they did say that they graduated him, even though he was they said he needed 1.5 credits. So I went to the meeting, but the limited guarding ended it and stuff, because he said, well, and CCS said, well, we don't have to deal with you and stuff. I said, well, but I'm his mother. I'm going to be in this thing. I said, I'm the one that filed the complaint, not the guardian, the limited guardian and stuff. So anyway, they went ahead and finished giving. Now, I don't know anything about the psychologist. That's why they like to take your guardianship away, so they can block your notifications and everything else, especially when you fight for them, And so I don't know if he's been getting that that you told me about, that he's supposed to be getting that counseling or something.
I don't think so. Actually, it was something. So our understanding from the district about two things. Our understanding from the district about the counseling is that the guardian never followed up. The district has contacted them several times, and we made them give us documentation showing us that they contacted the guardian several times about the counseling, and they haven't gotten a response.
Well, I bet so.
So there you have it. Again, I had already made an audio video of this before, but I'm going to add it along with the next segment, where you will hear her tell me that the district told them that we don't think he has enough credits to graduate, even though me and my son were led to believe that he only needed 1.5 credits, and that he would be done at the end of the school year, which was June 2014. So let me get to that part, and you can hear that as well. So here we go.
That was part of the mandate. And that attorney for Columbus City Schools, that Wanda Litson, or whatever her name is, she said it was two things for us to get federal funds. Because I was taping it, and that's why they ended and stuff. Because I said, well, yeah, but I'm part of this, so I can say I know Ohio recording laws. But she said there's two things. She said we have to give him compensatory education, and we have to give him counseling for a year for us to get the federal funds. So they went ahead and Go ahead, Vanessa.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I just said if the counselor never responds, at a certain point they're not going to have to provide it, and that would be my worry. I mean, the guardian's got to respond, or they're gonna, we're not going to make them keep trying. I mean, at a certain point they have to have tried enough. So if you could contact the guardian, I don't know if that would help and try to, push that issue.
Yeah, because this meeting was like, oh God, what was this meeting? This meeting was a while back and stuff. So, yeah, I will call her and tell her she's shirking her duty. And
So there you have it, about the counseling again. And then this next segment should definitely be on the graduation that he didn't really have enough credits and stuff. So it's just okay. Here we go.
but I just wanted to see if I could get that diploma. Now, I called CCS down there on 270 East 30th Street. I'm his mother. I don't care about guardian party or anything, because my son wants his diploma. He's not really interested in a ceremony because he's been over there at that state facility over at CDC. But, you know, he wants, I mean, you know, he still wants to have his own, you know, cap and gown and diploma and stuff. I got the cap and gown, and of course that'll be when he gets back home. And then, you know, I want to, but he needs his diploma. I said, well, this process ain't complete unless he gets his diploma.
Well, so I was out on leave, but our chief attorney actually talked to Wanda Lillis about that, and what she said is that they need to figure out if he met their graduation requirements. I know you have a letter, but it sounds like maybe he was a couple credits short. But he has to, you know, have all the necessary credits, and then there's only 2 times of the year where they ordered diplomas.
So there you have it, where she said the school district's attorney said they had to really figure out and see if he had enough credits. And they don't think that he really had enough credits to graduate, even though at the meeting they said all he needed was 1.5. But my thing is that Sanford should have been monitoring to that, making sure June 2014 that actually he had met the credits for graduation or not. It turned out that he didn't. And then, you know, why didn't she have him start at the beginning of the school year, which was in August of 2014, to do what she had to hurry up and do in February? You never really start coursework in February, you know. But like I said, I think she probably got a big reminder from somebody. So she just dropped the ball. And with her doing it so late, it's like, what in 3 months, because it's like February, March, June, July. So February, March, and June. I mean, it's 3 months he's got to do all of this to graduate, because she didn't monitor it and had him start doing coursework at the beginning of the school year, which was like August 2014. So February 2015, he just started school to graduate, and he'll be 22 in 2 months, and school is out in June, which is actually March, April, May, June, 4 months. So it just shows how corrupt, unfit, and incompetent this scummy attorney doesn't need to be. Actually a guardian of a a sewer rat. It's just awful. It just really is awful. So there you have it. My son is just being thrown around, just like a ball of confusion, because I'm even confused, I said, huh? He said, yeah, a new teacher named Rick just start coming over here, and I'll be seeing him Tuesday and Friday. I said, what is he teaching you? And he told me and stuff. He said, did I graduate and stuff? I'm like, it's just awful. And the federal government allows this to happen to its citizens and stuff, I ain't got no respect for this country or the people in these offices. None of them. None of them. They're all scum. That boy's so confused. And then, then all of a sudden they're starting the counseling on him and stuff. But what if I wasn't around exposing this stuff and everything? He would just, and can you imagine all the rest of the disabled residents that don't really have anybody fighting for them, or a family member or something like that, and being in this system, you got this scum like Aaron Sanford that's your guardian, and it's just, it's sickening. It really is. This country got a lot to be ashamed of. And I said, how hypocritical to talk about human rights violations of other countries, and you got that going on. Shit. And I can prove everything I say, just like I'm doing now. I'll use tapes, I'll use pics, I'll use documents. And then this last part is her telling me, the U.S. Department of Education employee telling me the impact I made on the school district about seclusion clauses when I reported that and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then that'll be it.
And I just also want to make sure you realize, your complaint had a humongous impact on a lot of people, because, we made this thing down that seclusion closet, and they're doing that across the district now. So, I mean, you had a tremendous impact for students in our district.
Well, that's a good thing to hear. I was doing it just not only for Marquise, but for the other kids and stuff. Columbus City Schools, I don't like ugly. I'm not a Catholic, I'm a Christian. And when I did that for Marquise and the other students. Because Marquise.
Okay, so yeah, she kind of told me the impact that I had. That was a humongous impact on the seclusion closets. That across the district, they probably got rid of them because of the complaint and stuff. I just don't think you should be mistreating helpless people. So I told her I just didn't do it for Marquise. I did it for the other students, because me and Marquise will move on to the life and even the new level that God has in store for us, and hopefully it'll help other people and stuff. So, but I'm not afraid to go up against a system or challenge evil people and stuff. I think that you should do that. You need to report things that need to be reported, and I reported it because it needs to be reported. Same way with the stuff at CDC. My son will be going on to the life that the Lord has in store for him. And it's not going to be all about institutions and governments and the system, but it's a testimony. But I know that God doesn't want us to turn our heads to injustices and seeing, people mistreated, helpless people being mistreated. So I reported it because it should have been reported. And I'm not going to, the stuff that I seen done to my son at CDC, I'm not going to just sweep that under the rug. It needs to be out there. People need to know. And the Lord just said, you go ahead and do that part, and I'll do the rest. So I'm stepping back, and I'm going to let God take care of the rest as far as the justice and whatever else he wants to do with this. But I'm glad to know that we're in his hands, he's on our side, and that we'll be coming out of this thing. My heart breaks, but the Lord comforts it, because I know my son has been suffering. And Jesus knows what that's all about. But he promised me and Marquise that it won't be forever. That'll be a powerful testimony. And that we can have faith in him, rely on him, and trust in him, that he will make everything all right. So there you have it. Thank you for listening. And again, Justice for Autistic Marquise Tanksley is one of the pages on Facebook, and Abuse and Neglect of Autistic Marquise Tanksley by the Government is the other one. So please feel free, share, care, make aware, and God bless you all. Thank you.